In this episode, we travel north on America's streaming service, the Mississippi River, to explore Chicago. Chicago didn't just inherit the beat, it rebuilt it. When Southern migrants brought blues, gospel, and rhythm north, Chicago electrified the sound. Chicago is not just a city. Chicago is a processor. In the Echoes and Footprints framework, the beat roots of America and the Americas, Chicago represents one of the most important transformations in modern music history. The moment when African-diasporic rhythm moved from the river into the city and then into the machine. Because before house music had a name, Chicago already had the beat. Chicago sits at a convergence point. It's connected to the Mississippi River route, Delta to Memphis to St. Louis to Chicago, where rural blues and gospel migrated north with people searching for work, safety, and possibility. And it sits at the center of the Great Migration urban beat route, where the movement of black bodies reshaped the movement of American sound. Chicago didn't just amplify the blues, it electrified it. When Muddy Waters plugged in, when Howlin brought Southern fire into northern streets, Chicago became the place where folk testimony turned into modern power.
But then, a second transformation occurred. In the late 1970s and 80s, the drum became a machine. House music was born in basements and clubs, built from loops, sweat, and community.
Chicago was where African-diasporic rhythm entered the electronic age and never looked back. And it changed everything. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, Chicago was living inside a new reality: industrial decline, economic pressure, and segregation that forced communities into tight spaces. And yet, those same spaces became laboratories: basements, warehouses, small clubs, after-hours rooms, places where music wasn't performed for a stage, it was built for the floor. House music emerged as a continuation of the oldest diasporic principle: rhythm as communal technology. House was not electronic music in the way people often mean it today. It was dance as survival. It was congregation. And the DJ was not simply playing songs. The DJ was conducting time, looping it, stretching it, breaking it apart, and rebuilding it. This is why Chicago matters. It marks the moment when the African drum tradition found a new body. The body was the machine. Listen closely to house music, and you'll hear something older than any synthesizer. Repetition as trance call and response between DJ and crowd, polyrhythm disguised as layering syncopation hidden inside the hi-hats, and above all, the communal we. House music is not a break from tradition, it is a translation. In the old world, rhythm lived in drum circles. In the Americas, it lived in work songs in churches. In Chicago, it lived in turntables, drum machines, and the dance floor. The groove didn't disappear, it changed instruments. And Chicago proved that the beat could survive modernity. Not by becoming classical, not by becoming polite, but by becoming mechanical, without losing its soul. That's why, in the Beat Roots framework, Chicago is not just a stop. Chicago is a generation point. It is one of the few places where we can clearly say, the beat didn't just travel here, it evolved here. And from Chicago, the sound did what it has always done. It moved outward. First to Detroit, where techno took the machine into futurism. Then to New York, where hip-hop was building its own loop-based empire. Then across the Atlantic, where Europe amplified the sound into raves, festivals, and global EDM infrastructure. And here is the hard truth echoes and footprints insist we call out. The beat grew louder, but the origin often grew quieter. That is why Chicago sits at the center of a modern contradiction. It created a global language, but it didn't always receive global credit. Still, the music survives, because it is built on something that cannot be erased: community. So when you hear house music, don't just hear a club genre. Hear a migration story. Hear a river. Hear an industrial city turning pressure into pulse. Chicago is where the machine learned the groove. The beat is the history. Thank you for spending time with us in Chicago, and we hope you'll join us in the next city upstream, Detroit. This is just one chapter of our story about the Mississippi River, America's first streaming platform. Listen to all of the chapters to learn how American music evolved as it moved upstream on the Mississippi River and expanded nationwide and worldwide.